I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Good morning.
It's time to wake up.
This is Snowman in the Morning on the Arena Sports Network.
Did you not get the memo?
Let's get busy!
I don't even know how the hell the student section at Michigan State pulled that off. And my thanks to Josh Lopez. This is how old school I am when it comes to wrestling. I don't even know who the hell Daniel Bryan is, but I suspect my producer extraordinaire, one of my producers extraordinaire, and my friend Josh Lopez will educate me on who Daniel Bryan is. With that in mind, good morning! I am extremely hyped this morning, and I'm extremely blessed to see another day this morning. Welcome to Snowman in the Morning, presented by Fusion Ions Bands. Fusion Ions, live your best. Got a lot to get to over the course of the next 90 minutes to 2 hours, and it's not even going to focus, well, most of this is not going to be focused on any particular game, just a couple of reactions that I got yesterday from, well, first of all, in case you don't know, and Rusty Silber, thank you very much. You're going to hear him in a few minutes. And, let me get this out of the way. Find us on Twitter, at Snow Morning Show and at Arena Sports 13. Also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Arena Sports Network and /Snowman in the Morning. Our new show page on the arenasportsnetwork.com is the arenasportsnetwork.com/SITM. You know what? My friend Davoud, wham. I've been working for the past 18 hours and I don't plan to sleep for 18 more. Well, you know what, Voody? You have fun with that, because after the next couple of hours, I'm probably going to go get some caffeine and keep my day going as well. He loves messing with me, especially when he knows on certain nights I have games that I cover and my staff covers. I mean this. I mean this jokingly, Voody. I think you have a short person complex. And I mean this very jokingly. Now, he knows the next time I see him, I'm going to pick on him mercilessly for quite a few reasons. Again, Snowman in the Morning, presented by Fusion Ions Bands. Fusion Ions, live your best. Go to fusionions.com for more information. On tap this morning, I got a few issues with some of the fans of sports, not just of the NBA, but of sports in general. It's like you try to talk to them and they have no clue what they are talking about. And I know the folks that work with me and around me, and the real fans that are around, I know you've run into folks like this. And one of my dear friends and one of my old school friends, Rick Young, gave me this idea to talk about it. And I've touched on it before. I've touched on it many, many, many times before. But it just bears to be talked about again. And I can't believe I'm going to do this. I'm going to work the Miami Heat situation into the conversation when I hit that subject. Let me say hello to a dear friend of mine, James McCallum. He and I went to grammar school together. We've been friends, 30-plus years. He's jumped on board as to start with as a consultant and as an advisor for the Arena Sports Network, and he is really going to help things out. My wonderful producer, Josh Lopez, gave me that Daniel Bryan chant, and I suspect that he's going to yell at me for not knowing who Daniel Bryan is, but I got a little bit of a clue with that chant. A couple seconds, you'll hear Rusty Silber with Rusty's Morning Wrap, and I'm excited to tell y'all Friday, Matt Rincars will join me on the second half of the show to talk about a very exciting product released by Fusion Ions, and also a couple of other exciting announcements that happened to him at the tail end of the year. Rusty, where are you? He hasn't gotten on the line yet. Well, it's probably what am I talking about? I know it's early for him, and I'm gonna joke around with him. Rusty, you're throwing me off schedule. When is there ever a schedule? Bono, as soon as I say that, as soon as I make a joke about being thrown off schedule, he decides to ring me, which means I get to mess with him unmercifully this morning as well. Time now for Rusty's Morning Wrap, presented by TCF Bank. TCF Bank, the official bank of the Arena Sports Network. Here's Rusty. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian. I wasn't going to throw you off schedule. Not me. I wouldn't want to do that, would I?
I had to do it. I had to mess with you, partner.
Oh, boy. Just like the Bulls are messing with Bulls fans right now. So.
Ooh, I know, and I saw a lot of the feedback. What you got in the wrap-up for me this morning, sir?
Well, morning, Brian, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday, Rusty's Morning Wrap-Up, presented by TCF Bank, the official bank of the Arena Sports Network. Bulls won another game, making it 6 out of their last 8, and they disposed of the Phoenix Suns 92-87 at United Center last night. Bulls had 5 players in double figures, led by Taj Gibson with 19 points and 10 rebounds. Joakim Noah added 14 and 16 rebounds. DJ Augustine and Jimmy Butler each added 13, and Tony Snell chipped in with 12. Both played the game without Carlos Boozer out with a knee injury. Also, earlier in the day, Luol Deng was traded to Cleveland for Andrew Bynum and 3 conditional draft picks. Bynum then was waived later on in the day. The recent trade was a way to handle financial reasons and the team's future. Deng will be missed by Coach Tom Thibodeau and the rest of the team. Both will next play the Bucks in Milwaukee. That'll be coming up on Friday night. College basketball, DePaul lost to Creighton 81-62. UIC fell to Youngstown State 75-62. Chicago State dropped 1 to Green Bay 98-62. And what a great game between 5th-ranked Michigan State. They needed overtime. And 3rd-ranked Ohio State 72-68. Games coming up this evening. 23rd ranked Illinois travels to 4th-ranked Wisconsin. That should be another good one.
Oh, yeah.
Illinois State visits 6th-ranked Wichita State. NIU at Buffalo. Southern Illinois meets Loyola, and Missouri State will be at Bradley. The final AP college football poll had Florida State at number 1, which was expected after winning the BCS championship game the other night. Auburn finished 2nd. Michigan State was 3rd. Notre Dame was at number 20. Northern Illinois did not make the top 25.
Ouch.
Blackhawks return back to the ice this evening, host the New York Rangers at the United Center. Also, 10 of the Blackhawks will be playing in the Olympics next month in Sochi, Russia. Sounds like a lot of players. You just wonder what the Hawks will be like once they get done with the Olympic break. Also, goaltender Nikolai Khabibulin had rotator cuff surgery on his right shoulder and will be out for 4 to 5 months. That will not be much of a loss for the Blackhawks.
Which means we get to keep Ranta. Nice.
Yes. Lastly, Brian, the selection of baseball's Hall of Fame will be released later on today. Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine are expected to be in the range of getting 75%, which is needed to get in. Some of the other possibilities include former White Sox slugger Frank Thomas, Craig Biggio, and Jack Morris. Rusty Silver for the Arena Sports Network, and don't forget to visit TCF Bank for more information.
Thank you very much, Rusty. And I will, if I get the chance, once those selections are made, I will be posting a video result and recap of it, and that'll probably be one of the first things I lead off with tomorrow. Crossing my fingers for all of my favorites. You just named Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, Frank Thomas, a couple of others on the ballot as well, including Craig Biggio. We'll see what happens. The announcement comes at 1 o'clock Central Time this afternoon. Thank you, Rusty. Great job as always.
Talk to you later.
Rusty Silver with the TCF. Rusty's Morning Wrap presented by TCF. Geez, I can't talk this morning. When we come back, a fan chat. And I put the word fan in quotes. I'll explain.
Want to get your rankings in the truest form? Want to get the best college news without all the fluff? Then tune in to Swamp's Collegiate Sports Show. Join Kevin the Swamp Rat Horan as he ranks all the collegiate sports, from football to basketball and baseball to cross country, soccer, and so much more. Don't forget to visit www.kevinhoranrankings.com and sign up for his newsletter buzzing across the country. So if you want the best college news and rankings and see how the pros are outsmarted, tune in to Swamp's Collegiate Sports Show. The Swamp Rat ranks them right every Wednesday night at 8 on the Arena Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Nuala, and I love to run, but I kept having pain in my shin, and that's how I met Abby.
I'm a physical therapist at Accelerated, and Nuala had a chronic case of tendonitis.
Abby got me on a physical therapy program, and 4 weeks later, I ran a marathon. And guess who I saw at mile 9?
She was kicking butt. When you need physical therapy, you have a choice. Choose Accelerated Rehabilitation Centers with 80 locations throughout the Chicagoland area. Accelerated Rehabilitation Centers.
Putting patients first.
Can I ask you a couple questions?
Okay.
So, what do you do on Sundays?
I usually try to make it to the gym and play video games.
Go to the zoo, and then you have lunch and nap, and there's some diapers.
Between ballet classes and...
I can totally imagine you doing ballet.
Yeah, well, not me, but taking my two girls to ballet.
Did you know TCF Bank is open Sundays? How would that make life easier?
That would mean a lot.
I do like to have the bank open on Sunday, and that's one of the reasons I use TCF.
I completely agree. It's a bummer when you realize at the end of the week that you have something to take care of and the bank's not open.
Yeah. But TCF Bank is open on Sundays.
I can't believe it.
It's amazing.
That is amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
So you might go and talk to a person on Sunday?
Yeah, I like talking to persons.
You know what? I can tell that about you. TCF Bank is open 7 days, including Sundays. Surprised? Come into the home of free checking and open an account today. For locations and more information, call 1-855-OPEN-TCF or go to tcfbank.com. TCF Bank. Surprisingly convenient. Member FDIC.
Okay, Josh Lopez, wake up. Wake up, I said. Snowman in the morning, back at you, 13 beyond the hour. And we're glad to have you with us. Snowman in the morning, presented by Fusion Ions Bands. Fusion Ions, live your best. Find us online at thearenasportsnetwork.com/SITM. That's the new show page for Snowman in the morning. We made a few changes to the website, and we, upon the advice of Josh Hammers, one of my GMs, and one of our producers, decided to make some changes, and I had to think. Well, Hammers taught me to, in a way, think artistically and bring it into the 21st century. And I gotta say, when the changes were made, I kind of like it. I kind of like how it is right now. We've put up a daily post, and that's our lead story from the evening before. It could be a local story. It could be a national story. It could be a whole lot of stories. But we got that up. We've added 2 new Listen Live links on the main page. And what else have we added? We added a trivia question. Go to thearenasportsnetwork.com and check out the trivia question. And we've added quite a few things. It's just a lot of information that we still have a few blanks to fill in. Also, right below the daily post, we have our upcoming schedule, and it goes a week in advance. And again, while I'm talking about one Josh Hammers, who is a bona fide Bear fan, and I'm not gonna pick on him about that, even though I want to. He gave the idea of thinking artistically and taking it into the 21st century. And again, I'll say, after taking a peek at the changes, I kind of like it. I kind of like how it looks. Am I ever going to admit that on air? Well, I just did. We got a little trivia a little later on, and it concerns Michael Jordan. So we'll get to that right after the next break. Now, I got a message from a dear friend of mine. His name's Rick Young. He and I are old friends. And he made a statement to me that really prompted me to talk about this. And I'm going to work last year's finals into this conversation. And he said, if I can find it here, computer's going too fast for my brain. He said, there are some fans that are so fickle that they don't know what they want. And I sent him a message in response agreeing with him. And Chris Bass and I talked about this on air, and Mike Loud and I talked about this on air. There are fans of teams that A, don't even know the team's history, and B, don't bother to do the research or read between the lines of what's going on with their team so they can really get a feel of what's going on. And Rick Young said, quote, in response, they definitely don't. That's why I don't even bother discussing sports with some of them. They get too caught up in emotion. Is emotion a part of being a fan? Hell yeah, it is. But doing your research and knowing your team is a big part of it as well. You know, my response to him was, these basketball, I can work baseball and football into the conversation as well. Fans, and I put that word in quotes, don't know what they want or what the team needs. If you follow your team, no matter who it is, and in Voodie's case, it's the Cubs. That's a whole different animal. Now, I'll mess with him later about that. If you follow your team, no matter who it is, if you know your team and know what they need, then sometimes the emotion is taken out of the equation because you have to look at it from the standpoint of what the team needs. And I'll give you 2 good examples. Last year in the finals, the Heat and the Spurs, some of the Miami Heat fans in Game 6 were bailing out when they saw the yellow rope being put up because the folks there anticipated a Spurs celebration. Well, we all know what happened. Miami came back and won Game 6 in overtime, got a little help in doing it. That's another conversation. And they wound up winning Game 7. And everybody became a Heat fan. I was headed downtown a couple of weeks beyond that. I was headed downtown, and I made a joke with the young person who was wearing a Miami Heat jersey. And, of course, the jersey was LeBron James. So I decided to have a little fun, you know, and I pointed to him, and I started giggling, and I said, that's an evil team. He took offense to that. And I looked at him and I said, how long have you been a Miami Heat fan? His response was in two parts. Number one, he said, my original team was the Bulls until Michael Jordan left, which explains a lot of people that I know. And secondly, he said, I became a Miami Heat fan when LeBron James arrived. That explained a lot to me right there, because it told me he didn't do his history research. Let me drop a little knowledge for some of the people that claim to be Heat fans and know the Miami Heat inside and out. And I've had quite a few people make that statement to me. If you're such a Miami Heat fan, where did they first call home? Let me drop a couple of questions on these people. And I'm doing this in trivia form. If you're such a Miami Heat fan, and why am I singling out the Miami Heat? I don't know. It's just a couple of incidents that strung together. If you're such a Miami Heat fan, who holds the record for most points by a Miami Heat player in a game? Want a clue? It ain't LeBron. What was the first year the Miami Heat made the playoffs? Give you a hint. They faced Jordan in a series. Where did they call home before American Airlines Arena? You ever think about that? You ever think about the fact that before the Heat vanquished the Bulls in 5 games in 2011, that they faced each other 2 other times in the playoffs, and the Bulls won both of those series in convincing fashion? You ever think about that? Of course they haven't. They haven't and they don't. What I'm saying is, when you're a fan of a team, you do your research and you learn about them. If you come on lately, then from that day you get to know your team. That's part of the benefit of what myself, Josh Lopez, Josh Hammers, and a few of us here at Arena Sports Network have. We do research on our teams, folks. Okay? When I ask a few fans out here why they like some of the players that they do, for the most part, they give pretty good reasons. You could like a player because of the way that they play point guard position, like I do with Steph Curry, or the way they play quarterback, like my friend Victor, our longtime engineer, does with one Troy Aikman, or Mike Hearn. Same thing with Troy Aikman and the old school Cowboys, the era of the triplets. You don't answer if you're a real sports fan. You don't answer a question like, why do you like this player with, I don't know. Obviously, you like them for some reason. You have something attracted you to liking this player or this team. You know, I was born and raised here in Chicago, and Professor B of BayAreaSportsWeekly.com, always asks me this, and he is so, what is the word I'm looking for? Astounded. Because he's out there in San Francisco. So when he and I got to know each other through our love of the 49ers, he said a statement that a lot of people have said to me over the years, and they've gotten to understand why I love that team. He asked me, what made you like the San Francisco 49ers? And my reasoning is simple. And I told him and I told a few others this. I said 2 simple words: Joe Montana. Joe Montana made me a 49er fan. Now, I can tell you I have many friends here in Chicago and across the country that are surprised, me being born and raised here in Chicago on the South Side, that I'm not a Bear fan. Well, I got spoiled by Joe Montana and later Steve Young. The catch, Montana hitting Dwight Clark in the back of the end zone, is the biggest reason I became a 49er fan. So don't go around saying you like somebody or you like a team and you don't know anything about that team. That's not being a fan. That's being a bandwagoner as far as I'm concerned. Snowman in the Morning presented by TCF Bank, the official bank of the Arena Sports Network. Visit tcfbank.com for more information. TCF Bank, surprisingly, TCF. Look out. Nearly had an accident with my bottled water here. And a subject we're talking about is being a fan of a team. Mike Lyle and I talked about this, and I replayed a conversation yesterday with Mike Lyle, Lyle Files Live, and that returns Monday. And boy, wait till you hear the subject that we have on the docket. I replayed a conversation with Mike Lyle that was taped and aired December 20th. And it contained this portion about how real fans get to know their team and get to know everything that that team needs. One of the things that he and I talked about, and I will defend this to anybody that will say different. The only reason, I mean, you can make an excuse that the Bulls did not have a second scorer or do not have a second scorer aside of Derrick Rose. You can make the argument all you want that they don't have enough big men, but that 2011 team was poised for a championship. Same with the 2012 team. Both years they finished with the best record in the league. The only thing that curtailed them was injuries. And I'll throw a second reason on top of that, fatigue. You got to remember, in 2011, the Bulls won 62 games, and no one expected them to even compete. And they won 62 games. That's the most incredible run that I ever had the thrill to watch. Michael Jordan made me a Bulls fan, period. Every true Bulls fan in this city, or around the country for that matter, because there are some Bulls fans across the country, have become spoiled with winning. With a franchise, and a lot of the folks I know hooked onto the Bulls in the Jordan era. Now, they had a great era when coached by Dick Motta back in the 70s when they played in the Western Conference. I bet a lot of wannabe Bulls fans didn't know that. They played in the Western Conference. And 3 straight years, they ran into the Lakers. 72, 3, and 4. They come to the Eastern Conference, 88, 9, and 90. 3 straight years who they ran into? The Detroit Pistons. 91, they got it right. Won a world championship, first of 6. But back to the point what I was making before. Michael Jordan made me a Bull fan, and a lot of folks don't realize that 2011 Bulls team and the 2012 team was curtailed by injuries. Anytime you lose players the caliber of Derrick Rose for an extended period of time, you lose Joakim Noah for an extended period of time. For a while, they lost Omer Ashik. Ashik and destroy, as Stacey King likes to say. And last year, they played a full season without Derrick Rose. And they won 45 games. And they beat the Brooklyn Nets in 7. Now, here's what really gets on my nerves. An undermanned undersized Bulls team coming in at the number 5 seed eliminates the number 4 seed in a Game 7 on their home floor quite handily. And yet these basketball fans that I run into all the time, and I know it's happened to other people as well, they always want to make excuses for the other team instead of giving credit where credit is due. I am guilty of the same thing. I have done it many times before, okay? But when I became involved in sports and involved in being a sports journalist and getting to know teams, that's a mistake I had to correct. When you're a fan of a team, you get to know that team. You get to know their opponents as well, their strengths, their weaknesses. Everything about them. So if you're going to be a fan all the way. Don't just bandwagon it. And I'm going to bring this conversation up later in the week, in particular on Friday, when talking about another team. I'll tell you who that team is. But I'm going to pause for a break, and when we come back, we're going to do a little This Day in History. And I'll slip a trivia question in as well. 31 beyond the hour. We're just getting started on Snowman in the Morning on the Arena Sports Network and the arenasportsnetwork.com.
My name is Matt Rencars, and I'm the founder of Fusion Ions. We are so confident that you're going to love our bands. We want you to try one risk-free so you can see for yourself how powerful these bands really are. Don't wait. Go to FusionIons.com to find out how you can receive your very own free Fusion Ions band. Take advantage before they are gone. FusionIons.com. That's FusionIons.com.
It began as a promise. Son, we're going on a road trip. That promise has lasted over 30 years. Our dream is to visit every national park in America. It's been thousands of miles, countless bumps along the way, but we'll just keep moving on, pursuing this amazing dream.
Visit DrassichAgency.com or call 219-945-3040 and ask Joel Drassich how you can get all of your insurance under one roof.
Need a car in a pinch? Need to get somewhere fast? Don't rent a car, share a car with iGo. iGo provides the convenience and flexibility of having a car without the hassles of owning one. Members have 24-hour access to a fleet of iGo cars in reserved parking spaces all over Chicago and in 4 suburbs. iGo pays for the gas, premium insurance, maintenance, and 24-hour assistance. It's very simple and a great service to take advantage of. All you have to do is pick a plan, reserve a vehicle, and drive off. See? Easy. If you want more info, just visit igocars.org and start sharing today. iGo Cars, Chicago's only hometown nonprofit car sharing company.
Hey everybody, this is Brian Snow, CEO of the Arena Sports Network, and I want to tell you we've made some exciting changes to our website. If you log on to the arenasportsnetwork.com, instead of the stories that you see leading off the website, you'll see our daily posts, you'll see our upcoming schedule, a little bit of trivia, what we have on the docket, and a few more odds and ends. The sweeping changes continue. Just keep tuned to the Arena Sports Network, where every team has a fan, and our new home, the arenasportsnetwork.com. Hey, Voodie, why don't they play this song at Wrigley Field a couple times? Oh, he's going to hurt me for that. Snowman in the Morning back at you. 34 beyond the first hour, 26 before the new hour. We hope that you are enjoying your morning, and we thank you for taking time out of your day to spend it with old Snowman and our crew. This portion of Snowman in the Morning, presented in part by Slugmaster, baseball and softball hitting and training aids. Slugmaster, turning batters into hitters. And speaking of hitters, the Hall of Fame vote is today, as you heard Rusty Silver say during Rusty's morning wrap. And I had a very playful argument with a lot of folks last night, because anybody who knows me or knows of me, that one of the players that I want to get in the Hall of Fame today and expect to get in the Hall of Fame today is one Frank Thomas. Now, you got cases for Tom Glavine, the last pitcher to win 300, Greg Maddux, Cy Young extraordinaire, who basically only had 2 pitches to work with later in his career, and he made them both work, and he still made people suffer. Anytime you know what? I loved watching Greg Maddux. I may not be a Cub fan, and partially not a Braves fan, but I loved watching Greg Maddux. Okay? Greg Maddux was one of those kind of pitchers every 5th day, and I'm thinking in terms of a player and a fan. Greg Maddux was one of those kind of pitchers, or every 4th or 5th day, when you see him warming up in the bullpen, you go, oh, no. I got to face this guy? Same with Tom Glavine. And they shared a staff. They were both on the Atlanta Braves. How about that? 2 of the last pitchers to win 300, once upon a time, were both on the same staff. They also had John Smoltz and John Avery. Their version of the fearsome foursome. But getting back to Maddux, Maddux is one of those pitchers. I can't use the word that I want to use, but you take a look at the bullpen and you see number 31 warming up, and you're going, why him? And then, what if you're a leadoff hitter facing Greg Maddux? You have no idea. Well, you'd be as prepared as you could be, doing your research from the night before, looking at everything that you could about Maddux, and yet when he takes the mound, he had a different game plan for you. You could be going up into the box expecting fastball, then a breaking pitch, and then another breaking pitch. And he'll start you off with a slider and buckle your knees, and you're done for the rest of the at-bat. A pitcher that constantly changes his game to fool the hitters is my kind of pitcher. Greg Maddux was my kind of pitcher. I'm hoping he gets the call today. I'm hoping Tom Glavine, who was a World Series MVP, the year was 1995, I'm hoping he gets the call today. There's another player on the list that should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. And his name is Don Mattingly. Why is Donnie Baseball not in the Hall of Fame? Why is one of the most lethal hitters in baseball history not in the Hall of Fame? He spent his entire career with the New York Yankees, showed up every day, played every day. He made the playoffs in his final season. The year was 1995. Finally made the playoffs, got a playoff home run to his credit. While I'm talking about that, with all of the talk in baseball, and that has been around baseball and around the PED and the steroid era, I have been asked this question many times of how I feel, and I never answered it, and I'm going to answer it now. The question that has been posed to me several times over is, should Pete Rose be allowed into the Hall of Fame? Hell yeah, he should. I mean, can't you listen, Major League Baseball, can't you forgive Pete Rose for betting on it against his team that he was a player manager for already? If you can lift a ban against a player that you originally gave 50 games to for performance-enhancing drugs, let's just go ahead and call it what it is, performance-enhancing drugs. Don't say PEDs. Say what they mean. Performance-enhancing drugs. What's the matter? Are you afraid of that word? If you can lift the ban on a person or lessen the ban against a person caught using performance-enhancing drugs, then you can lift a ban off a player that made a couple of bets against his team, okay? The only thing that made him suffer is that he lied about it. Am I condoning what he did? No. I am not in any way, shape, form, or fashion condoning what he did. And I never will. But let Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame based on his stats and his performance as a player. Okay? You're talking about the all-time hits leader. And you want to keep him out of the Hall of Fame just to preserve your name, Major League Baseball? Are you bleeping me? Are you serious right now? The date was September 14, 1985. The opponent was the San Diego Padres. The scene, Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. One of the most unbreakable records in baseball was broken on a line drive opposite field single. Number 14 should be in the Hall of Fame. End of story. Lift the ban, put him in the Hall of Fame, give him his rightful place. Say, hey, he made a couple of mistakes while he was a player manager. So what? He put in his work. He put in his time. He broke some records. He won a couple championships. This is a campaign for Glavine, for Maddox, Don Mattingly, Pete Rose, another player that should be in, Jack Morris. Jack Morris is the only pitcher in World Series history to pitch a 10-inning complete game in a clincher. Pat Ketza, one of our other producers, sent me this last night. Ken Gurnick, to me, quote, Ken Gurnick, to me, should have his Baseball Hall of Fame voting rights revoked. Close quote. And I asked him why. And Pat shot me this response. He voted for only Jack Morris for the Hall of Fame, and his reasoning was he refused to vote for any player that ever played during the PED era. Pat goes on to say, mind you, the entire history of baseball is a PED era. So Maddox is added to the list of players who should be unanimous but aren't. He goes on to add, he's the only MLB.com writer who did not vote Maddox or Glavine in. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Mr. Gurnick, do you read at all? Every single record that Frank Thomas held or holds, he did all that clean. Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, they did all that clean. And Frank Thomas wasn't even part of the PED era. You fool. Maddox and Glavine weren't part of the PED era. And if that's the case, I agree with Patrick. Baseball in general is a PED era if you want to look at it that way, but people don't. Do you know how much stuff the players before the ones that are out now did and got away with, but still busted their asses on the field? Forgive me. And took care of business? So what you're trying to tell me, Ken Gurnick, is because Frank Thomas is 6'5" and 275 pounds, a former tight end that played at Auburn, blocked for Bo Jackson, played baseball as well at Auburn, and hit a home run so far that, or 2 home runs so far that one dented the scoreboard and the other cleared it, because he has all this God-given talent that he used for 19 seasons, that he shouldn't be a part of the Hall of Fame. Now, I know people are going to make the argument that Thomas shouldn't get in the Hall of Fame because he was a designated hitter. No, he was not a designated hitter. For the first 7 years of his career, he played first base. He played first base, y'all. Okay? So don't give me this stuff about Frank Thomas was only a designated hitter. What you got to realize, when he came up with the Chicago White Sox in 1990, he played first base for 7 years. The only reason that he was moved to a designated hitter spot, for a couple of seasons, he dealt with a lot of injuries. Now, it's going to bring up another argument of it being unfair, with one league having the DH rule and the other league not having the DH rule. Well, if you don't like it, change it. They changed it in 1972, and they said, okay, let's add this and see what happens. I'll give you another player that was a great hitter and fielder before injuries curtailed his fielding career, but still was one of the most lethal hitters in Major League Baseball. His name is Edgar Martinez. The guy in 1995 who hit the double that brought home Ken Griffey Jr. with the winning run against the mighty New York Yankees in the 11th inning of Game 5 of the Division Series at the Kingdome in Seattle. Yeah, that Edgar Martinez. If you want reasons to let these folks in the Hall of Fame, you got them. Put your nose in the record book and do your research. And Ken Gurnick, as far as I'm concerned, you need to do a little more research. And I will leave it at that. Snowman in the Morning, presented in part by Fusion Ions Bands. Fusion Ions, live your best. Also, visit thearenasportsnetwork.com for more information. We're going to play a little game called On This Day, and there is a trivia question attached to it. If you looked at the website, and I'm encouraging you to do so, you saw the question. I'll reveal the question to the folks listening in 2 minutes.
How do you turn a batter into a hitter? With Slugmaster Hitting Stations. Slugmaster Hitting Stations are the most effective and durable baseball and softball batting practice devices available. Versatile, compact, and easy to use, they are excellent tools for ball player at any skill level. Attached to any pole or post for an instant hitting station. Use it at the ballpark, at home, or anywhere you want to get some hits in. Work the strike zone, top to bottom, in and out. The most complete workout year-round, indoors or outdoors, teams or individuals. Slugmaster equipment is constructed from high-grade steel. The rugged design means years and years of use. Slugmaster equipment is used by youth, high school, college, and professional ball players. For more information or to place your order, call 708-705-7354 or visit slugmaster.com. Slugmaster Baseball and Softball Hitting Aids, turning batters into hitters.
Gigahertz, providing customers with excellent service since 2008. Computer problem? Leave it to the staff at Gigahertz, priding themselves with an unparalleled work ethic and continuing to offer customers the lowest prices around. Gigahertz services include PC repair, networking, PC setup, custom PC builds, pickup and delivery, in addition to in-home and in-office service. Get small to large business solutions, service contracts, and much more. Computer problems? Gigahertz. And that's where we come in. Gigahertz for your computer repair and solution needs. In-home, in-store, wherever it's convenient for you. Think your PC's infected? Gigahertz offers free virus diagnostics, with most virus removals done in 48 hours or less. Plus, they'll optimize your PC. Take that, Best Buy. Give Gigahertz a call. 219-218-9323. That's 219-218-9323. Or log on to gigahertzpc.net. Gigahertz, and that's where we come in.
You know what? Josh Hammers is so mad at me. He held up a sign that said, "It is 2 degrees outside and you're talking baseball." Yeah. It's 1.5 feet of snow on the ground and you're talking baseball. Yeah. People are getting stuck and you're talking baseball. Yeah. Spring training isn't for another 2 months. Josh, spring training isn't exactly 6 weeks. You know, he loves picking on me. Is spring training again for another 2 months and you're talking baseball? Yeah, and spring training comes in 6 weeks. Get your days right. Snowman in the Morning, this portion presented by Gigahertz, the official computer solutions company of the Arena Sports Network. Visit gigahertzpc.com or .net for more information, or you can give them a ring at 219-218-9353. Think your computer's infected? Gigahertz is the answer. 219-218-9353. Now, someone gave me a suggestion, and they wanted me to post it on the website. In a way, I did, but in a way, I'm gonna add a voice to it. We're gonna play a little game we like to call "On This Day in History," and we take these facts from onthisday.com. Starting in 1901 in Chicago, the first tournament sanctioned by the American Bowling Congress was held. In 55, after 130 home basketball wins, Georgia Tech defeated Kentucky 59-58. It was the first home Kentucky loss since January 2nd, 1943. In 1957, Jackie Robinson announced his retirement from Major League Baseball in an article that appeared in Look magazine. That'll wake you up, all you old-timers. In 1960, the NCAA met in New York and voted against reviving the unlimited substitution rule for college football. In 1977, the cover of TV Guide was Super Bowl. Give you a little clue of what's going on here. In 1984, and you may have read this on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Arena Sports Network, ABC purchased the remaining 85% of ESPN. Kind of significant, I believe. Continuing on, in 1994, Dino Ciccarelli of the Detroit Red Wings became the 19th player in NHL history to score 500 career goals. And now, our OTD on this day trivia question that you may have seen on the Arena Sports Network website. This day, January 8th, the year was 1993, and Michael Jordan reached a milestone and finally did it in front of the home crowd. He scored his 20,000th point against this division foe. Name the team. With that in mind, I'm going to step aside for a break. When we come back, we'll come back with our Gigahertz question of the day. And during the second half of the show, right after the halftime break, I'll reveal the answer. Again, Michael Jordan scored his 20,000th point on this day in 1993 at Chicago Stadium against this division foe. Who was the unfortunate victim? I'll let you know during the second half of the show. The question of the day, presented by Gigahertz, is next. We'll be right back.
Some statistics are surprising, some are unbelievable, and some are simply unacceptable. Right now, nearly 30% of U.S. students aren't finishing high school. Nearly 30%. And that's the average. In many places, it's even higher than that. And fixing it is a responsibility that we all share. This is President Obama, and I urge everyone, not just parents, but friends and neighbors and family members, to take responsibility for encouraging the high school students in your communities, to support them, challenge them, push them a little, and do whatever it takes to help them make it through. Because this is one statistic we simply can't afford to ignore.
You can do your part by going to boostup.org and sending an email, a text message, or even a wake-up call to a student at risk of dropping out. Go to boostup.org and provide the boost that's needed to make it to graduation. A message from the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
Anne Marie specializes in premier 5-star vendor and craft shows. She also offers event planning for special events of any kind. Anne Marie's goal is to provide both her vendors and shoppers with an exceptional experience, believing that promotion is the key to any successful event. Anne Marie has developed personal relationships with her vendors and is constantly being sought by vendors who would like to participate in her popular events, often with wait lists for vendors. Working with Anne Marie is an enjoyable, stress-free experience. Anne Marie is a perfectionist and very creative. She is 100% committed to each event from beginning to end and believes that promotion is the key to any successful event. No stone will go unturned as it relates to promotion. For the ultimate in event planning, contact Anne Marie today at 219-741-0435 or visit anne-marieprince.com. Premier events in Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana are brought to you by Anne Marie.
Any of y'all who love Iron Man knows this song. Three minutes before the new hour. I know we're running a little bit behind, but I'm going to read some great. I didn't even see these messages, trying to keep up with everything on the show today. John Fitzgerald, who recently celebrated a birthday. Fitzy, I love you, and happy belated birthday, my friend. Hope it was a great one. I talked about being a fan earlier in the show. Fitzy chimes in, I'm not a Bear fan either, and he couples it with this. I was a Cleveland Browns fan as a kid because I was born in Cleveland. I will pick on him later. Now, Josh Lopez added this while helping us out. If someone hometown loses to their rival, their entire team turns their back on them and acts like, oh, they're being realistic. No, either you're a loyal fan or you're a bandwagon hopper. Thank you, Josh Lopez. Somebody that believes in the rule of what a fan should be. Fitzy added this, Cubs suck except for Jeff Samardzija, and I'll tell you exactly why he pulled that name out. He's a graduate of Notre Dame, played 2 sports there. My Hall of Fame talk, Fitzy added this message, Pete Rose will never make the Hall of Fame. You know that, I know that, but he said I'll let Bill Buckner in the Hall of Fame before Pete Rose. Wow. And to Josh Hammers, who couldn't get his dates right, he said pitchers and catchers report in the middle of February. Oh man, follow along with us if you saw our post on Facebook of the link to the show. Follow along and chat along with us. What we're going to add is a chat console to the new show page of thearenasportsnetwork.com/SITM. So everybody can follow along with us. Approaching the new hour, and we haven't done our question of the day yet, have we? No, Josh Hammers is shaking his head, and now he just face palmed. He said no. Well, let me do this right now. Question of the day presented by Gigahertz, the official computer solutions company of the Arena Sports Network. Gigahertz, and that's where we come in. Visit gigahertzpc.net or call 219-218-9353. Yesterday I talked about which game or video game absolutely sucked all your quarter supply dry. I got an immediate reaction from Josh Hammers. If y'all could hear the reaction in my ear, that Josh Hammers just gave me. He missed yesterday's question, but I'm glad he's safe. He had a lot of car trouble getting to work. He's in my ear right now, and I repeated the question from yesterday. Which game or games absolutely demolished your quarter supply? And Josh, in this low tone, just went, "Oh God." Which tells me there were quite a few. The same with me yesterday with the list that I gave, which leads me to this. In the 1990s, all the fighting games appeared: Street Fighter, Tekken, and of course, Mortal Kombat. Here's our gigahertz question of the day. Which one did you or have you played the most? Out of Mortal Kombat, Tekken, out of the Mortal Kombat series, the Tekken series, the Street Fighter series, and the Virtual Fighter series, because a lot of people don't realize there were 5 Virtual Fighter games that appeared in arcades. Which of those did you play the most? I tried my hand at all of them, and I was not good. End of story. Because those kind of games introduced combinations where you had to remember a combination to beat your opponent. And, of course, it's spawned into Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, X-Men vs. Street Fighter. All those games spawned from the 4 that I mentioned. So, again, our question of the day, presented by Gigahertz. Out of these 4 series, Street Fighter, Tekken, Virtual Fighter, and Mortal Kombat, which one did you play the most? Post your answer or tweet your answer to @SnowMorningShow or post your answer on Facebook.com/SnowmanInTheMorning. And Josh Lopez shot me an answer. He said Mortal Kombat because, well, actually he gave me a few answers. Mortal Kombat, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, and the WWF arcade games. Josh Lopez, thank you for that answer. Another game, and going back to yesterday's question, another game that kind of bled my quarter supply dry was Star Wars. Many people know that series. They came out with an arcade game in 1983. And once I saw that, as well as what I mentioned yesterday, which was Super Pac-Man, my quarter supply ran dry real quick. I'm going to hit this later on. I'm going to hit this tomorrow, and I'll have a backup question, a little old school question to help along with that as well. One more time, the Gigahertz trivia question. Out of the 4 major fighting game series, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, Virtual Fighter, and Street Fighter, which one did you play the most? That's our question of the day, and it's presented by Gigahertz. A pause for a break, and when we come back, a little bit of Luol Deng fallout. And Fitzy was not happy when that trade occurred. In fact, he made a very declarative statement to me. I'll tell you that, and I'll tell you some fans' reaction. Here we go, talking about fans again. In 3 minutes, second hour of Snowman in the Morning, on the way on the Arena Sports Network.
iGo Car Sharing, dedicated to creating a robust and seamlessly integrated transportation system that's ubiquitous, convenient, and affordable for individuals, and provides the region with expanded economic development opportunities and exemplary environmental performance. Since its inception in 2002, iGo has worked to catalyze a set of transportation innovations that make it feasible and desirable for Chicago residents to get around conveniently and economically without having to own a car, and at the same time reduce vehicle miles traveled and greenhouse gas emissions. A mobility system that is independent of private car ownership requires solutions that use resources efficiently, saves residents money, and decreases the individual and regional ecological footprint. It allows residents to easily choose between multiple modes of transportation to move from point to point quickly, inexpensively, and conveniently. Innovative information technology can integrate both trip planning and service payment across all types of transit, including rail transit, commuter rail, local bus, bus rapid transit, and more. Visit us online at igocars.org and find a location nearest you. iGo Cars, Chicago's only hometown nonprofit car sharing company.
An ordinary sunny day. An ordinary family's living room filled with an ordinary bunch of kids. And they were doing nothing. They were couch slouching. They were rug imitating. And lazy minute after lazy minute was passing them by. When suddenly...
Huh? Hey guys, that's a personal foul. Inactive activity on a sunny day.
Coming to the rescue was NFL running back Reggie Bush.
Players don't get lazy penalties. Let's play.
Those kids, they listened to Reggie. They got up and play they did. There was fun and running. There were smiles and jumping. And laziness was crushed.
Hey kids, don't get a lazy penalty.
Kids, listen to Reggie and avoid lazy penalties. Be a player. Get up and play for an hour a day. Go online to check out smallstep.gov for fun playtime ideas.
So you can be a player too.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Be a player.
At Strachan Van Til, everything we do is designed around you. From the uncompromising freshness down every aisle to the unbeatable quality you'll always find. It's the very best selection from choice meats to bakery. And getting honest value every single day, all with the friendly personal service and the savings that you deserve. That's built around you. That's Strachan Van Til. Visit svtgroceries.com today.
Hey everyone, Ed Farmer here. As a closing pitcher for the Sox in 1980, I racked up 30 saves, the Sox record at the time. But thanks to a life-saving kidney transplant in 1991 from my brother Tom, someone else helped save me. Just like my organ donor, you too can give someone a second chance at life. In fact, as a registered organ donor, you can help save the lives of more than 25 people. Be a team player. Register to be an organ and tissue donor at DonateLifeIllinois.org.
Register today to be an organ and tissue donor at DonateLifeIllinois.org.
There's at least one place in every community where neighbors still gather and civic pride flourishes. One endless source of inspiration. One night where history is made and the nation's future seems brighter than ever. There's at least one high school serving every community in Illinois, and if you're not in the stands, you're missing out. High school sports are a part of our state's tradition, but it takes the support of the entire community to make it happen. Be a fan. Support your local high school's activity programs. This message is brought to you by the IHSA, celebrating more than 100 years of high school sports and activities in Illinois.
This will wake you up. This is my friend Nicole's song. She loves this song, so I play this for her. Hey, Fitz, do we add this to the playlist at Marquette as well? Second half of Snowman in the Morning in your ears on this Wednesday. And it's actually warming up. And it's supposed to be balmy, like in the mid-30s this weekend here in the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana area. Doggone. I'm confusing the two words. I'm sorry. Second half of Snowman in the Morning, presented in part by American Family Insurance of Maryville, Indiana. Call 219-945-3040 and find out how you can get all of your insurance under one roof. We're glad you joined us. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. And again, look at the revamped Arena Sports Network website at thearenasportsnetwork.com. Now, I promised an answer to my trivia question. We're going to do it we're going to do it now? Okay, we're going to do it now. On this day, the year was 1993, and Michael Jordan reached a milestone point and finally did it in front of the home crowd. He scored his 20,000th point against this division foe. Name the team. The answer is the Milwaukee Bucks. The first time he ever hit a milestone point in front of the home crowd. The Milwaukee Bucks. That's on this day trivia, and it's presented by Gigahertz. So we'll post the answer to this later today. The answer is the Milwaukee Bucks, and then we'll post another question for tomorrow, and we'll also post it on our Facebook page. I got a story later on in this part of the show of ultimate survival, and now ultimate surviving and ultimate thriving. I'll have that a little later. But I want to tell you about a video I spotted. Now, I have been known to play a few pranks on people, and Liz will tell you I have played many on her, and she's gotten even. But I spotted a video on YouTube yesterday that was absolutely bleeping hilarious. And the video I spotted was this. Carmelo Anthony has had a wax figure made of him in a popular wax museum in New York. This was last year. And they decided to have him play a prank on some folks coming into the museum where he was in a shooting motion and they would walk by. Now, the first set of fans that walked by, he was in a shooting motion like they had in the statue, and the fans walked by, and he just stood up and said, "How you doing?" It got a mild reaction, but it was the next few that really had me cracking up laughing. If you go to youtube.com and search Carmelo Anthony prank, you'll see what I'm talking about, and it's going to be our video of the day that will premiere today. Now, the next set of fans that came by, he's in his shooting motion, absolutely still, and the guy who walked by was going to be a little playful, and he acted like he was going to swat the ball away, and that's when Carmelo, quote-unquote, came to life and went, hey, 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 and made the guy's wife jump. And it happened. It happened again. But the best reaction that you will see in the video that I'm going to post later is the last one. And I thought this poor woman was going to pee her pants when this happened. They're walking by, and Carmelo stands there, hey, 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 and one of the ladies, you'll see it on, like I said, you'll see it on the website later. One of the ladies jumped out of her shoes. I thought she was going to pee her pants. And Carmelo's such a good sport. He took pictures with the fans. He shook their hands, and it was just wonderful. Which gives me an idea. If you have an idea for a video that you want us to post as our video of the day, tweet your nominee to @SnowMorningShow and @ArenaSports13. If your video is selected, it will be posted on our website. This could turn into something. But you'll see the video later today that I'm talking about. Carmelo Anthony's prank inside a museum in New York. It was absolutely hilarious. A pause for a break. And no, we're going to stay here. We're going to stay here. Snowman in the Morning presented by TCF Bank, the official bank of the Arena Sports Network. TCF Bank, surprisingly TCF. Mike Green, who's a friend of mine on Facebook, posted this link yesterday, and when I saw its title, I knew I had to have this. Title reads, and it's from CSNChicago.com. Behind the numbers, NHL attendance surpassing NBA. Let me read that again. NHL attendance surpassing NBA. Wow. Sunday's game against the Sharks marked the Blackhawks, you ready for this number? 250th consecutive sellout through the regular and postseason. And despite the cold, harsh weather conditions, the United Center was still packed. The Blackhawks right now are the true reason the United Center is called the Madhouse on Madison. The Blackhawks. Yes, the Chicago Blackhawks, a team that was left for dead on many occasions, has been revived. 2 Stanley Cups in 4 seasons. The growth in popularity is off the bleeping charts. And in fact, this article, Nina Falcone wrote the story, and you can follow her at Nina Falcone. Again, this is courtesy of CSNChicago.com. She writes and opens with the Blackhawks' growth in popularity has been a hot topic the last few seasons, especially since their 2013 Stanley Cup victory. The team's on-ice success and ability to connect with fans off the ice has transformed Chicago into a hockey town. Between earning 2 Stanley Cups in 4 seasons and hosting events such as the Blackhawks Convention during the offseason, the Blackhawks have a strong, loyal group of fans cheering them on as they cruise through the season. Strong, loyal group of fans. Again, thanks to CSNChicago.com for this article, and thanks to my buddy Mike Green for posting it. Again, I'll say that. Let me say that again. Strong, loyal group of fans. Rocky Wirtz is one of the main reasons for this. John McDonough is another reason. Because when they took over the Blackhawks, their first goal, aside of winning a Stanley Cup, their first goal was to reconnect with the fan base that was alienated a long time ago by Bill Wirtz. A second thing that they did, they made all the games available to watch, either on Comcast Sportsnet or, you ready, WGN. WGN became the radio home with one of my favorite announcers, John Weideman, the radio play-by-play voice, and one of my other favorite hockey voices, Pat Foley, the television play-by-play voice. The Blackhawks knew they made a mistake when they got rid of Pat Foley. So he joined the Chicago Wolves for 2 seasons. His second year there, he earned a cup, Calder Cup. Blackhawks said, oh, no. We're going to need you back here. And now he is celebrating 2 Stanley Cups in 4 seasons. According to the latest attendance records, the NHL is averaging more sellout crowds than the NBA. And here's the fact. Throughout the 2013-14 season, 15 NHL markets have, you ready, at least 100% capacity in their home stands. These are the teams: the Detroit Red Wings, the Blackhawks, the Montreal Canadiens, the Philadelphia Flyers, the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Calgary Flames, the Vancouver Canucks, Pittsburgh Penguins, Washington Capitals, Minnesota Wild, Los Angeles Kings, New York Rangers, Boston Bruins, San Jose Sharks, and Winnipeg Jets. Even the return, even the return of the Winnipeg Jets, and they have more sellouts than an NBA team do. This note was added. Without the Winter Classic, the Red Wings are averaging 20,066 fans per game. If you don't count the outdoor game, the Blackhawks are leading the attendance charts. Expect the Blackhawks to get a healthy bump when they play their home game at Soldier Field on March 1st. Man, that's the truth. The game referring to the Winter Classic at Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I'm going to talk about this tomorrow. 105,591 fans packed that joint through the snow, through the wind, through the cold. You want to talk about some loyal hockey fans, a loyal fan base, period. And it wasn't just all Red Wing fans. You know, they were right across the border from Canada, so Maple Leaf fans packed the joint too. 105,591 in Michigan Stadium. That's nuts. Love the Winter Classic. There are a lot of people that don't like the Winter Classic, but I do. I do love the Winter Classic, especially when you can get 105,000 people in the same place. The NBA, on the other hand, has only 8 markets averaging 100% capacity. the Bulls, the Mavericks, the Knicks, the Heat, the Warriors, Clippers, OKC, and Houston. Bulls come in at 104.6, averaging 21,876 inside the UC. So I will relinquish a statement that I said earlier, and I'll couple it with the Bulls and the Blackhawks make the madhouse on Madison rock. Chicago is a prime example, reading again from the article, of popularity within the NHL. The team's winning traditions the last few seasons and off-ice interactions have given this city a new appreciation for their hometown team. Is that ever the truth? The numbers around the entire league have grown tremendously just since the lockout, averaging 6 additional sellout markets compared to the 2010-2011 season. Between the game's increased speed and talent, addition of outdoor games, and upcoming Olympic exposure, it appears the league's popularity will continue on the rise. And it's incredible that the rise is being led by 2 of the original 6 teams, the Detroit Red Wings and now the Chicago Blackhawks. Success breeds a lot of this. It does. It breeds a lot of this. Again, thanks to my buddy Mike Green on Facebook for posting this article. And again, the article is courtesy of csnchicago.com. I've been a Blackhawks fan since 1990, even through the lean years. And Chicago Stadium rocked, okay? Chicago Stadium rocked. But the United Center is rocking even louder, even with the discussions that I've had with many a person, including my buddy Mike Lyle, about how the new arenas are so different and so, well, for lack of a better term, lame, and I mean that in terms of aesthetics. The UC rocks, period. The United Center rocks. Joe Louis Arena is off the bleeping charts. Madison Square Garden, I don't need to say anything else. But it's the NHL that's making it rock more than the NBA. 15 markets averaging 100+ % capacity as compared to 8 in the NBA. It shows you who the real fans are and where they're located. Now, I spoke of Miami this morning and how that fan base has played itself out, and it's going to continue to play itself out. I had something planned for the Luol Deng fallout. I'll save that for tomorrow, because we've been having a good time with some of the stuff we've talked about this morning. Again, we thank you for listening to Snowman in the Morning. We are presented by Fusion Ions Bands, and I've got to take a break. But when you come back, I've got a story that another dear friend posted. I got permission to share it, and when I realized who it was, I had to have it in 2 minutes. Snowman in the Morning on the Arena Sports Network.
Gigahertz, providing customers with excellent service since 2008. Computer problem? Leave it to the staff at Gigahertz, priding themselves with an unparalleled work ethic and continuing to offer customers the lowest prices around. Gigahertz services include PC repair, networking, PC setup, custom PC builds, pickup and delivery, in addition to in-home and in-office service. Get small to large business solutions, service contracts, and much more. Computer problems? Gigahertz. And that's where we come in. Gigahertz for your computer repair and solution needs. In-home, in-store, wherever it's convenient for you. Think your PC's infected? Gigahertz offers free virus diagnostics, with most virus removals done in 48 hours or less. Plus, they'll optimize your PC. Take that, Best Buy. Give Gigahertz a call. 219-218-9323. That's 219-218-9323. Or log on to gigahertzpc.net. Gigahertz, and that's where we come in.
How do you turn a batter into a hitter? With Slugmaster Hitting Stations. Slugmaster hitting stations are the most effective and durable baseball and softball batting practice devices available. Versatile, compact, and easy to use, they are excellent tools for ball player at any skill level. Attached to any pole or post for an instant hitting station. Use it at the ballpark, at home, or anywhere you want to get some hits in. Work the strike zone, top to bottom, in and out. The most complete workout year-round, indoors or outdoors, teams or individuals. Slugmaster equipment is constructed from high-grade steel. The rugged design means years and years of use. Slugmaster equipment is used by youth, high school, college, and professional ball players. For more information or to place your order, call 708-705-7354 or visit slugmaster.com. Slugmaster baseball and softball hitting aids, turning batters into hitters.
Want to get your rankings in the truest form? Want to get the best college news without all the fluff? Then tune in to Swamp's Collegiate Sports Show. Join Kevin the Swamp Rat Horan as he ranks all the collegiate sports, from football to basketball and baseball to cross country, soccer, and so much more. Don't forget to visit www.kevinhoranrankings.com and sign up for his newsletter buzzing across the country. So if you want the best college news and rankings and see how the pros are outsmarted, tune in to Swamp's Collegiate Sports Show. The Swamp Rat ranks them right every Wednesday night at 8 on the Arena Sports Network.
This'll get you lifting a few weights. $27 beyond the hour, 33 before the new hour. Snowman in the Morning, presented by Fusion Ions Bands. We're live on the Arena Sports Network and thearenasportsnetwork.com. Thank you all for joining us. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Snowman in the Morning and /Arena Sports Network. And tweet us as well, at Snow Morning Show and at Arena Sports 13. Now, I've said this throughout the show that I would share a story of ultimate survival. And before I share this, a dear friend posted this link on Facebook. I read it, and I recognized who it was. So I got permission from the proper folks, and they said, sure, you can go ahead and share it. So I'm going to share this right now. Imagine if you were a pregnant senior at Unity Catholic High School and a policy was enforced against you that was not in the student handbook. Well, that's what happened. The day was May 10th. This story was published on May 10th, 1988. The year was 1988. And a Cook County Circuit Court judge denied a motion seeking to force a Southside Catholic High School to allow an 18-year-old pregnant senior to attend the school's senior prom. Anthony Scalito ruled that administrators at Unity Catholic High School were reasonably enforcing the school's policy on pregnant students when they told Carla Minifield Jenkins in late March of that year she could not go to this Friday's prom or the graduation that took place on May 28th. Scalito said school administrators should be allowed flexibility when enforcing school rules. Carla Jenkins said the following, quote, "I feel discriminated against." And at the time, she had only been married a month, and at the time, she was in her 5th month of pregnancy. "I told them I was pregnant in January. I participated in senior activities, but they didn't tell me until March 31st that if you're pregnant your senior year, you cannot go to graduation," close quote. Story reads on. The policy handbook for students states that pregnant students must leave when their 6th month of pregnancy ends. And this is the reason I am telling this story, but does not explicitly prohibit them from going through graduation ceremony. That was according to Jenkins' attorney. But the school's principal, Lawrence Keller, said that although the graduation policy isn't in the student handbook, in the school's 66-year history, never have we knowingly allowed a pregnant student to participate in the graduation activities or prom. Our goal is to support, Keller also said, quote, our goal is to support her going into full term in her pregnancy, but we've decided that we cannot condone premarital sex or teenage marriage. It's as simple as that, close quote. Carla Jenkins said she did not know exactly when she became pregnant, but Keller presented in a court letter from her doctor stating that she was 5 months pregnant at April 9th at the April 9th examination. Keller would not comment on the letter. Of course not. Robert Jenkins, the attorney, said that because of the letter, Keller had decided to consider Tuesday the end of her 6th month and might ask her to withdraw then. She had hoped to attend senior prom that Friday with Richard, her husband, and participate in the May 28th graduation, and assumed she would be able to attend the ceremonies because she would only be in her 5th month or starting her 6th. She also said the school also refused to allow her to attend Honors Day on May 27th because of her pregnancy. You know what? The story alone got my attention, but it was the person behind posting that story and made me realize who it is why I'm talking about this. You all have heard me mention the name Shanice Jenkins. She is currently a point guard at DePaul University and one of the baddest point guards in the nation. That's like my little sister. In fact, that whole family is like family to me. CJ posted this last night with the article attached to it, and she writes, quote, "Man, if y'all only knew the hardships that were endured by my mother. Through it all, she has kept her head high, and even when they said she couldn't, she did. She has exceeded all expectations, and her determination to succeed in every way possible has rubbed off on me and all of my sisters. The four of us are strong-willed, determined, sassy, and savvy because of my mother. She is the reason I stand tall and fight every day. If she can, then I can, and I will." CJ, Mama Carla, the rest of the Jenkins family, I love y'all dearly. Because in my honest opinion, the year was 1988. Keep that year in mind, okay? And yes, it's a Catholic high school. But if she was married the month prior, then I wouldn't have cared. If I was the principal, let her walk anyway. She went through the activities. But I read that article, and I am talking about this article because it's talking about one of my favorite families. Shanice Jenkins, who's at DePaul, little sister Deborah Jenkins, DJ, who was at University of St. Francis, who I also had a chance to watch play in high school, and the littlest one of all, Ryan, who, if she hasn't picked up a basketball, she will. These are four strong women, folks. And Ryan is following in their footsteps. And I had a chance to meet Ryan at DePaul's opening night. Not to mention I had a chance to see my little sis, CJ. You want to talk about a story of survival and a story of people thriving under conditions that say can't, and they did? This is it. This is it right here. This family, and yes, I'm using that word and I'm using it proudly. This family, since that day in 1988, has withstood everything, gone through all of it, okay? And here they still stand. I remember watching CJ play at Whitney Young. And she was teamed up with another one of my favorite female point guards, DeFran Smart, who played at Rice University. And I saw CJ and DeFran's in a little bit of a race. And I didn't believe how fast CJ was until I saw that. Now she's at DePaul. She's all grown up now. And about to drive the Big East nuts. She's going to drive them nuts. And a little love for Deborah Jenkins at St. Francis. She's going to drive the CCAC bananas. And whenever Ryan gets started in sports, if she's not started already, wherever she goes, she's going to drive the rest of that conference absolutely batty. Now, I promised my little sis CJ I'd make it out to a DePaul game. I haven't had the opportunity yet. I'm going to change that, and I'm going to change that soon. I make you this promise, CJ. I will make it out to a game. I promise, and I'm going to keep that promise. I'm going to talk to the folks at DePaul who are in charge of women's basketball, see if I can come out there and cover a couple of games for you. Doug Bruno, a dear friend of mine who is CJ's coach and the coach of the Lady Demons at DePaul. Love that man. I've had many a conversation with him and have gotten to know him and have gotten to see his program. And I tell you what, that program's off the charts. One of the many that I've had a chance to know over the years. That program is off the bleeping charts. And I couldn't be more proud of not just an individual, but a family that has withstood it all. A family that has risen above the word can't. A family that has risen above won't. A family that has risen above all doubt. And here they stand, and here they are today. Just absolutely doing it. Oh, you don't think we can do this, huh? No, yeah? Take a look at that. How can you not be proud of that bunch? How can you not be proud of that family? Well, I certainly am. I am extremely proud of that entire bunch. And I mean every single word of it. CJ, Mama Carla, Ryan, Deborah, the whole Jenkins family, I love y'all dearly, and thanks for making me a part of your family whenever you were at my games and I was behind the mic for them. I love you guys dearly, and thank you. And we're going to wrap it up from here. And again, just to expand on this point before we get out of here, just because, and I've had to learn this. I've had to learn this over and over again. Just because someone tells you that you can't doesn't mean it's true. It was something my dad has said to me many times over. He had said that to me many times over, and now I'm finally getting it. I'll close with this, and we'll quickly go inside the journey and close this way. Don't be afraid to dream, but if you conceive the dream, you can execute it. It's one thing to have it in terms of having the dream that you want. It's another thing to draw a line in the sand and go after it. And I mean go after it with every fiber of your being. I'm talking about with every part of your heart, every part of your soul, everything that is within you. To chase it, catch it, execute it, and make it reality. Period. There's not a cotton-picking rule in the book. Whatever book it is, look, I don't know what this proverbial book is either, but there is not a cotton-picking rule in the book that says you cannot conceive, pursue, and capture your dream. You know, LL Cool J said it in one of his songs. You got to struggle and fight to keep the dream alive. And it is a fight because you're going to encounter haters all over the place. You're going to encounter people that give you their pieces of advice. It's their pieces of advice. It's the way they want you to handle things. It's the way they would handle the situation that you're in. But they're not you. The dream is not theirs. It's yours. And it's up to you to protect it. It's up to you to fight for it. And forgive me, folks, it's up to you to bust your ass to make it a reality. No matter what the circumstances, no matter what the situation. And I will say it again. From experience, I've had to learn this and relearn it over and over again until it became ingrained in my brain, until it became ingrained in my heart, and until it became ingrained in my soul. What I'm doing right now is only a part of the dream chasing. Why can't we chase dreams anymore? I don't see anything stopping us from doing that. I've been told this by not only my friends, but my advisors. The only person that can stop a dream from coming true is you when you don't chase it. The Jenkins family, a prime example. And one day when I was talking to Liz on the phone and I was in tears and I thought of giving all this up, and she stopped me in mid-sentence and she said, "Look, don't you dare. The only way you'll disappoint me is if you stop doing this." When I heard those words, it lit a fire under me. And it brought more, for lack of a better word, haterade. It brought more of it. But if I've learned anything from CJ and her family, conceive the dream, pursue it, catch it, make it real. And I'm out of here. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. When we commence tomorrow, I will have Fallout reaction from the Luol Deng trade. I promise. I was supposed to have it today. Didn't get a chance to. We'll let you know what's happening on the ASN Digest. A couple of magazines we got coming out. And we're gearing up for our spring schedule. So we're going to have some fun. We are definitely going to have some fun. I'm out of here. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. Talk to you tomorrow. So long, everybody.